Good morning. It's Monday morning. How are you doing? It's Kirsten Liebelt. Hold on, I'm going to clean this off. Okay, I think that's better. Good morning, you guys. How are you doing? Let's see, what is it? Today is August 26th. It is so good to see you guys. So good. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? My weekend was very busy and very amazing all at the same time. Why do you ask? Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So my grandson, my second grandson, he turned 2. So little Levi turned 2 and we had a great baseball party, baseball themed birthday party. And then we went to a Twins game here in Minnesota and we won. I'm not even a baseball fan, but we won. There's nothing better than winning, right? Hi, Cheryl. How nice. I know. Oh my gosh, seriously. Like I don't track sports like super amazingly well at all. Like I don't even know the rules. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't even know the rules. But it just sure is fun when you get to go and win. So we've been to the Target field many times in downtown Minneapolis, and it sure is fun to go as a family. And that was great. So I hope you guys had a good time too. And then we did a little Italian family reunion. And that was really fun. We've lost a lot of people over the last 4 years. Have y'all lost people, relatives and, family members, friends and so forth over the last handful of years? A lot of people, this has kind of been our world now, right? And so we're kind of restarting a tradition that we have wanted to restart. So I hope that, everybody can take time to prioritize family a little bit. So today what I wanted to do was in my busyness, because I'm such a freaking geek. I hope you know that. I hope you understand. This is just me being a geek all the time. I did get to listen to an interview that I thought was super phenomenally interesting. And I wanted to bring it to you today. And you'll notice that the subject line says, what does the subject line say? Hold on. Do you know what is the largest fast food chain in America? And no, you haven't eaten there recently. What's it going to be? Does anybody have any guesses what I'm talking about? I'd like to hear if anybody has any guesses. Good morning, you guys. Good to see you. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Good to see you. So I would love to know if anybody has any guesses on that. Okay, but in the meantime, this particular interview, super fascinating. So her name is Casey Means, and she is an MD. Oh, by the way, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. The next challenge starts on September 9th, Monday, September 9th, in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. It's our 16th challenge, free challenge. We do insulin resistance, ingredient trade-outs. We do a recipe. The last recipe that we did were the keto lemon blueberry bars. I brought them yesterday to the Italian reunion. Huge hit. Gone. Didn't matter if people were keto or sugar-free. They didn't care. They were like, wow. And that it is that good of a recipe. I didn't create it, so I can say that because I don't create the recipes. I just make them. And then I serve them to people because I love that. I love being able to trade out ingredients. So, all right. So the interview is with Casey Means, and she's a doctor. This is what she did. She went to Stanford Medical School and she became a surgeon. And after 9 years of becoming a surgeon, she quit. She quit because she could not handle that the only answer was surgery when we have these systemic illnesses. And so she went on a quest. Her and her biological brother have gone on a quest to really dissect our food supply and what's going on. She's young. She was like, I don't even know how long ago it was she left, but she probably left when she was 30 and she's probably still in her 30s. Okay. So she's still very young. And this is just so incredibly fascinating. I wanted to give you some stats. Oh, Magda, I'm sorry. Is anybody else on Instagram that can tell me if I'm freezing? It's either Magda's Wi-Fi or it's me. So if somebody could tell me, it looks like I have strong signal. So if anybody can tell me on Instagram, that would be amazing. And I'll just keep going. So basically, this is very fascinating. These are some of the stats that came out. And my heart is so, you guys, we're being scammed. We're being scammed by industries. And if we do not wake up and understand what they're doing to us, we will continue to take their advice. Has anybody seen the study that came out recently by the USDA that basically gives you a chart that says that Lucky Charms is healthier than beef? On this chart of gradation, has anybody seen this? We're being scammed. They're making so much money off of you and me that I have to be censored when I speak. Do you understand this? Are you tracking? Because if you're not tracking, if you are just on the lazy river of marketing and allowing them to influence you in what you're purchasing for food, for you, your children, your grandchildren, and you just stay on that lazy river, then you will be a chronic disease and medication will be your friend. They make so much money off of us being sick. If somebody is on Medicaid, this was one of the stats. If somebody's on Medicaid, right? And because they prey on the poor. So if you're on Medicaid and you are diabetic by the time you're 30, they profit millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Millions. Between pharmaceutical companies and the food companies and the medical providers and the health insurance companies, because they get paid by the government then to take care of you and give you all of your meds. Now, no other time in history has information been more readily available to the poor, to people who are, and I don't mean the poor, meaning you're in a shelter. That's kind of always a given. Like, obviously you're in financial whatever. I'm talking about just people who are on, if you're on Medicaid, if you're on any kind of government assistant or government assistant housing, or maybe you just, you know what, your income just isn't cutting it. And you don't even have to be on government assistant anymore to be below thresholds. Like, inflation is so freaking crazy, right? That 2-3 jobs, you get that whole picture. But never has information like this been more readily available. Because who doesn't have a phone? Raise your hand if you don't have a phone. Everybody has a phone. Very few people in the United States of America do not have availability. Free Wi-Fi is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's at every coffee shop. It's that you can park outside of a, outside of a coffee shop. You could just sit outside of a coffee shop and pick up on their free Wi-Fi. Okay, so readily available, this kind of information where somebody could stumble across my live or Dr. Ken Berry's live or Dr. Eric Berg's live and get this information. So this is such an exciting moment in time where people can actually gain access to education and make a shift. Because for the first time, maybe, good morning, Magda. Good morning, good morning. For the first time, there's no boundary, no barrier to entry for the information that I'm going to talk about. Okay. So this is super interesting. I just said something about, hold on. Okay. I'll just go back to the beginning. So Casey Means, she's a doctor. She went to Stanford to be a surgeon. She finishes her medical school and everything, and she quits. And she says, I can't do this, without talking about the core reasons why we have all of these issues. I think she was going to be an ear, nose, and throat surgeon. And she said, this is ridiculous. We're not dealing with the common denominator of why we have all of these issues that need to have surgery. Like, I'm just going to cut into people and not have answers. So that's what happened. So her and her brother, her sibling, now are kind of like not health food, but they're coming against the food industry. They're kind of like evangelists for the good people, because we have to deal with the fact that we're being totally scammed, totally marketed to, and they can't wait to make money off of us. Okay. So good morning, Matt. Good to see you. You're running behind on things this morning. I know it's a Monday morning, right? Monday. So these are some of the stats. Let's see if you already knew any of these. And if you have a guess as to what is the largest fast food chain in America that you have not eaten at recently. So it's not going to be McDonald's or Burger King or anything like that. And then I'll tell you what they had said about that in just a second. All right. So we think we live in a free market where we have, like we have the freedom just to grow our own food and to sell our own food and grow our own beef and sell our own beef. It's not a free market. They want you to think that it is, but it's not. They've literally taken it over and they control the food supply. This is why it's really important for us to be able to go and to grow our own food in our own yards, right? To grow our own, or to get beef locally. Like we order a half a beef from somebody who's local, right? So if you can do that, man, I'm telling you, like, make it a priority to figure that out. If you want pork, try to find a local pork producer, try to find a local beef person, try to like go to your farmer's market, learn how to freeze vegetables or do whatever. Like, actually, I don't do any of that, but my daughter does do some of that. But I'm just saying, like, whatever is enticing to you, try to do it so that you have your own local food, okay? Because the marts of the world are not serving us well. But anyway, this is not a free market, okay? Government gives subsidies to crop producers. They offset the cost of growing crops. Now, number one, the largest section on the food pyramid is grain. 9 to 11 servings a day. Remember, we talk about this all the time. That's criminal. That's really bad. This is why we're in the pickle we are in. So the number one thing you need to know is this. If you were going to make one step, just one step, and I know that it sounds mountainous, but it's not as hard as you think it is. One step, go grain-free. Because you immediately eliminate all of the toxins that go into the grain growing. All of the GMO, all of the toxins, all of the Monsanto, all of the glyphosate. I mean, I'm just saying it in different words. All of the tetrazine and all of the stuff that's really absolutely assaulting our cellular health and making us metabolically sick. So if there's any way that you can eliminate grain, do it. Order the hamburger, wrap it in lettuce. Go try an Egg Life wrap. It's made out of egg whites. Learn how to make keto lasagna with deli sliced chicken breast instead of noodles. I know this is a tall order, but when you eliminate grain, that means you're also eliminating corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, because corn is corn. Okay, now back to this. Subsidies from our government. 0.4% of the subsidies from the government go to crops that grow fruits and vegetables. Crops or groves that grow fruits and vegetables. 0.4. Okay. So 0.4 of a penny, not even half of a penny, goes to helping farmers that grow fruits and vegetables. 2%, 2 full pennies, goes to tobacco. Why we're subsidizing tobacco, I don't know, but we are. 90% goes to ultra processed food. Ultra processed food. This is what the government is doing. You have to understand, everybody's in bed with each other. Okay. So let's not be confused as to how this is happening. Okay. And it's all slanted against the small farmer because they're going to do it in large amounts. If you're going to talk about beef for just a second, there are 4 main packers of beef that control 85% of the supply chain in the beef industry. Now, why do you care? Well, because most beef is fed grain. So you understand they have you kind of coming and going with your whole food supply. Now, I understand we don't fix this overnight. I understand that this can feel like super a lot. And I am kind of like a lot for a Monday morning. Sorry. But I was really taken by a lot of this information this weekend. I'm just like, we've got to stop. We just have to stop. The obesity in our children is like, as a grandma, I'm just like, okay, how do we do this? How do we shift this? Because my generation, even though we were the beginning of it, like my mom's generation started it, but we were the ones that were eating it. So my generation, I was born in 65, raised in the 70s, graduated in the 80s. We were the first to really be the products of Crisco is in the cupboard, white flour everywhere, and the sugar increase just like to the moon, sugar in everything. And that includes, of course, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup in every bar, in every soda. We went from regular sugar to whatever. Okay. That was my generation. But now I look at my grandchildren and I think, how do they even have a chance? How do they even have a chance? When should they go to school? The largest fast food chain in America is the USDA school lunch program. That's the largest fast food chain in America. The USDA is now saying and recommending that there can be 10% added sugar for 2-year-olds. How do they sleep at night? Have you looked at a can of formula recently? Good morning, Brenda. Matt says that, he says, I repeat. You're so cute. I am so glad to live on a 121-acre farm with grass-fed beef and chicken and a fish pond. That's a goal right there, Matt. That's a good goal. Yep, I buy grass-fed beef from a local person. I have not taken the time to find a pork person yet. I could probably find one in the paper pretty easily. I haven't done that. And a lot of people just don't do pork. That makes it easy, right? Oh, thanks for saying that. Checking on my audio. I appreciate that. So I haven't found that yet. I've gotten to the point now where in Minnesota, when I'm buying vegetables or when I'm buying fruit, because I only eat berries, but I don't buy, I just eat organic or I don't buy them at all. I can either buy organic frozen or I can buy organic powdered. I have an immunity powder and it's all organic and I'll use that for berries. Otherwise, if I'm at somebody's house, I don't ask, of course, and I don't ask at restaurants, so I'm not perfectly clean, but we have to just do the best that we can because this has gotten to levels now that's really obnoxious. Okay, so this is the deal with the USDA and their recommendations, because now the result of this is that 33% of young adults now have prediabetes. 33%. Does that unnerve anybody else? Does that anybody? Is it just me? That really, really gets me because of my history. So my dad, I was raised by an insulin dependent type 2 dad in an Italian family. And so the food, of course, was just a lot of white flour, a lot of white sugar, and a lot of overeating in general. I don't believe that type 2 is as genetic as the food culture is. I know that there are predispositions, but most of it just comes straight from the way that we've been taught to eat inside of our families. And so my dad was always having medical issues and medical procedures, and he was always overcoming not feeling good as his body was trying to know what to do with all of the meds that he was taking and all of the insulin that he was taking. And then he ended up having surgeries and dialysis and the whole thing. And so I grew up with a very medical minded thought process. Like not a supplement thought process, not a healthy living thought process, just a medical thought process. And he had a lazy Susan full of medication. And that was how I was raised. And I was just told flat out, type 2 is genetic. That's how you're going to get it. That's all you need to know. And then that was it. Like nothing from the medical industry, even though I was gestational with my first baby and hypoglycemic with my second. So when I read stuff like this, that 33% of young adults now have prediabetes, I just can't even fathom that we are living this way, and we can hear this information and not do something, change something. Like, I don't know, where do we go from here? And if you're, like I said at the beginning, if you're on Medicaid, if you're on government help, by the time you're 30, if you're diabetic, they will make so much money off of you. It's not even funny. So they don't actually care because it's so profitable. Your sickness is so profitable that they just can't even see straight because they just have dollar signs in their eyes. This is why you keep directing people to, oh, Matt, you're so sweet, to my channel. That number, this 33% is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, and it's very devastating. I feel like in my heart, it's the devastation of it all. It's the fact that girls will grow up and they'll be infertile, and they won't be able to have babies, and they'll be so devastated by that, and they'll have such a hard time understanding that connection. Or you all of a sudden you start and you have mental health issues because your gut is so messed up, because insulin resistance leads to pretty much everything, right? And so now you have mental health issues. And one of the stats that they were giving was that 15% of young adults, 15% of high schoolers, 15% are on Adderall, which is like ADD. That's just another, like the SSRIs for the anti-sadness medicines, the ADHD meds, they are 40% of the advisors that are coming on to the next committee for the USDA, which does the studies, the study that just said that 93% of ultra-processed food can be healthy, that Lucky Charms is healthier than beef. Do you understand what they're doing to you? Do you understand what they're doing to families? That's what the USDA, that was the most recent study that came out, and I saw it floating around the internet like for over the last year or so. 40% of the advisors that are now coming on to that next committee, they're paid for by Ozempic. It's like very alarming. And 95% of the advisors on the USDA nutrition guidelines for America, they have conflicts of interest with food companies. The studies influences what go into school lunches. And I feel like that is probably one of the, you have to understand if they can, how early can they get your kids or your grandkids? How early can they get us into bad habits of food? And it is challenging. And I understand that. Benny, you understand. Good to see you, Benny. I love seeing your name pop up. How fun is that? Yeah, I mean, it's a really big deal. So just think about the drug pushers in general, right? So now we have into our children, let's go 18 and younger. They're having SSRIs pushed on them, which are anti-sadness. Okay. Adderall, which is, ADHD, Ozempic because of their weight or that they are pre-diabetic. What am I missing? I know I'm missing something. So probably the three biggest ones. And this is all coming from a food supply that is completely corrupt and a government that is completely corrupt in this area. The lobbyists in DC, in order to keep our corrupt crops and our corrupt food supply chain, it's very powerful. And that's why, like I said, you realize how powerful it is when you have to censor yourself. It's such a big deal, you guys. So I don't know if anybody has heard of Casey Means. That was new to me this weekend. Like I said, she's an MD. She's a surgeon. She She became a surgeon through Stanford Medical School. And after 9 years of becoming a surgeon for, I think it was ear, nose, and throat, she basically resigned. She went through all that work. And because she said, I got to the end and I realized I can't be cutting into people all the time without asking the question, how did they get here? That started her journey. Melissa Hunter, heads up, horrible attacks on the babies. Oh, I'm processing, Venny. I'm processing like what you're saying for sure. I think I know, but yes. So over this weekend, so tomorrow I'm going to go to the state fair. You have to understand that Minnesota State Fair it's a really big deal. Like it's a really big deal, right? And I've been going to the state fair since I was a little girl. And of course, the state fair is usually associated with how much food can you eat in one day. And there are lots of people, if you're on TikTok at all, you'll see people like, and you probably don't get them because you don't live in Minnesota, but people are like, what I ate, like there's a guy who literally will go all 10 days and he will just eat trash food for the entire day and rate it, on a scale of, 1 to 10 or whatever. It's bad. It's bad. But anyway, and the whole conversation about the fair and about the food and whatever, it used to be kind of like once a year you went to the fair and you had this blowout day of food and, but you're walking 20,000 steps to offset it as best you can and blah, blah, blah. Now we kind of eat like this all the time, you guys. And I feel like that's really such a big issue. And when people are dealing with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, which I mean, it's the same, but I'm just talking about pre and then current. And like your quality of life just goes down, down, down. This is what I watched happen with my dad for 10 years before he died. His quality of life just went down, 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 down because you can't keep up. Your body can't keep up with the cellular assault of the medications. You just can't keep up. And that's what's happening to our children at a much younger age with, like, if we're going to talk about, I'm going to read it. The largest fast food chain in America is the USDA school lunch program. And our kids are eating it every single day. They are literally now recommending, the USDA is now recommending, it's just trash information. 10% of added sugar is recommended for 2-year-olds. Now, my little Levi, he turned 2 years old this weekend. There's absolutely no way on God's green earth that I would give him 10% of his food for the day to be added sugar. Are you kidding me? That destroys his cell. That destroys, like, that sets him up for metabolic syndrome, right? So there's no way. Now, contrary to that, so I teach so in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, and you can all get in there. There's a free challenge coming in September, the 16th one. It's a 5-day challenge. But last month I made keto lemon blueberry butter. It says cake, but it's really more like bars. I made a whole jelly roll pan of this and brought it to our Italian reunion yesterday. Gone. It didn't matter if people were sugar-free or not sugar-free. They loved it. Now, I didn't create the recipe, so I can just, gloat all day long about it because I'm not the recipe creator. I'm just the recipe maker. But basically, for the crust, you're using an almond flour and a coconut flour, more almond flour than coconut flour, butter, egg, swerve. I'm not going to remember all of it. It's okay. It's on the website, All Day I Dream About Food. And then the middle part is cream cheese and butter and egg, etc., and sweetener and all of the good stuff. There's a lot of lemon zest in there, a lot of lemon juice and lemon extract. And then you're putting blueberries in it and you're baking it all together. And it's amazing, just amazing. There's absolutely no reason why we cannot be shifting things that are that simple for our grandkids, for ourselves. Like, this is not rocket science. I know that people think that this is so hard. It's not. And, when I talk about supplementation, this is easy. This is very, very easy. Putting alarms in your phone and remembering to take some supplements during the day, that's easy. I understand that this is harder. I get it. That's why I have the group, because then we can do some mindset, we can do some ingredient trade outs, and that can literally shift the way that you view your ability. You can have hope. You have to have hope. Everybody has to have hope that you can actually get off of the addiction of their ultra processed food that they want you to eat all the time. There has to be hope. Hello, Carla. You're making the recipe tomorrow. You got the complete recipe. Yes. Carla, it's so freaking good. It's a really good one. And when you guys jump into the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, there is, number one, you will eventually get tagged in a free recipe PDF that has pantry ideas. That's number one. Number two, we have a free challenge every month. And the next one starts on September 12th, and it's a 5-day challenge. And I go live 2 p.m. Central Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday. And we talk about insulin resistance and ingredient trade outs. And I do a pantry and a fridge reveal. And we talk about targeted supplementation. And we do a recipe. So if you go up into the search bar, you can search for prior videos that I have done from different challenges. Keto lasagna, sugar-free chocolate pudding. By the way, I turned the sugar-free chocolate pudding I put it into my Ninja Creamy Deluxe I had it frozen, and then we whipped it up last night. Oh, my stars. It turns it into kind of almost like a fudge ice cream. It's ridiculous. Carnivore bagels are in there. There's a pumpkin roll for pumpkin season coming up. There's keto granola, Cheez-It crackers, like keto Cheez-It crackers. So there's stuff in the group already. And you know what, you guys? You just do one ingredient at a time, one recipe at a time, one thing at a time. We have to be able to combat what they have done to us and what they are continuing to do. You're not going to get them to stop. The fact that 4 packers do all of the beef in the United States, unless you find a local beef person. 4. They control the food supply. You're not going to get them to stop sketching out these food pyramids that are just trashing your health. You have to just pay no attention to it. You have to just go, I do not receive your information that is fraudulent and making me sick and fat and medicated. I do not receive your information. And the reason why you care is you might say, well, I don't care if they recommend 10% added sugar for 2-year-olds. I'm just not going to abide by that. Well, good for you. But do you know how that impacts the food supply? Now, all of the food that is marketed for the moms who are buying the food for the 2-year-old, it'll say USDA recommended. And you'll be like, oh, isn't that sweet? That's USDA recommended. I can buy that for my baby. But nobody's asking if the USDA is trash or not. When they're giving you studies that tell you that Lucky Charms is healthier than beef, you guys, come on. These entities are corrupt. So until the entities get turned around, we have to do this for ourselves. We have to become our own advocates. We have to take back our own bodies. We have to help the next generation make better choices. Because if there is major obesity in our children and then in our grandchildren, this does not bode well, because what it looks like is a life of lacking of function, a lack of potential infertility, sickness, medication, hospitalization. And if you're like my dad, it took him literally, this is a for real story, until noon every single day. This is about the last 10 years of his life, because he would take all of his medications and inject himself with insulin, and his body would then have to fight for it to all work and balance out. And he wasn't even safe to drive until about noon. Now, I personally would like a higher quality of life than that. He died at 63. I'm 59. I wake up in the morning and I don't ache. I'm living a completely opposite life than my dad did when he was in his 50s, getting close to 63 when he died. Complete opposite. I'm not hospitalized. I'm not having heart procedures. I'm not on medications. I'm not any of that. He took all of those meds, ended up in a pickle, and don't even get me started on hospital food. That's a joke. So instead, I did this. I did supplements instead. And the number one advice I can give anybody on every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day, get the trio, get the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. You have to fight your metabolic syndrome at a cellular level. You have to get underneath what's going on. And I'm telling you, by the time you find out that you have pancreatic, the C word, it's one of the harder diagnoses that you can be given. I don't want to declare stuff over people, but it's a tough one. Most people do not overcome. Fight at a cellular level. Fight, fight, fight. Everything starts with insulin resistance. Everything, 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 everything. This is a metabolic, trashed, cellular conversation that we are having in our country. And you can shift it for yourself. You can teach your children how to do it. And then you can teach your grandchildren how to do it. And I'm just telling you, like, I have never been so happy in my entire life than I have been over the last couple of years when I finally had enough courage to come online and talk about something that I've been doing for over 10 years. And it all started with a local guy who said to me, I need to order more of your diabetes pills. And I went, tell me more. Because I knew what they were doing for me. And I'm the one that avoided type 2. But then y'all came forward with data from your own journeys of being type 2. So now all of that is, not all of it, but a large portion of testimonies are in the pink highlight bubble at the top of the Instagram page or in guide number 4 of the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. This is a starting point. This is how you can start. This is easy. 3 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. 3 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. This is easy. Set an alarm on your phone. This is the easiest part of anything that you're ever going to do. The harder part is sifting through the insanity of the food supply, of the marketing, shutting off the noise. This is heart healthy. Lie. This is recommended for children by the USDA. Trash. It's all about balance. Wrong. All of that stuff. That's the harder part. Magda says, Kirsten, we truly get it. The problem is, how do we convince our loved ones and our families? You're trying with them, but they can't get past their normal ways of eating. Yes, you can't, Magda. You can't. It's not easy. No. Yes, fight everything. Cellular. Yes. Oh, good. You're ordering more trio this Friday. Woohoo! 8x8 glass ceramic pan makes 9 squares, 4.6. Oh, 4.6 carbs per bar. Good to know. Very good to know. Thanks for telling me that. Yeah, I doubled the recipe and I put it in a jelly roll pan for my family for yesterday. It was phenomenal. Your family too. This is the deal, you guys. This is the deal. You can't make anybody do anything. You have to live by your own example. When I started trading out my ingredients in my early 50s, I'm 59 now. So shy of my 51st birthday, I had started to take supplements to help with my sugars, my insulin, my liver, all of these things, right? Okay. I decided I'm going to start trading out my food ingredients, and I'm like so addicted to sugar. I'm very not mindful of my body or nothing. I'm just very oblivious. I'm very clouded in my judgment with food. And I decide that I'm going to start to eat real food, blah, blah, blah. And I go on this whole journey, and I've talked about that before. And I really, I was making a really good effort. And it took a while for me to trade out foods. And I realized that I was making a difference with my family when one day they were making whatever they were making. And they said, "Hey, mom, I think somebody said, I'm so sorry we ran out of, or hey, mom, do you want some or whatever?" And one of the other kids, now my kids are 35, 29, no, 35, 32, and 29 now. And somebody said, "It doesn't matter. She's not going to eat it anyway." And inside I went, that's right. I didn't say anything. I don't push. I create content. They know I create content. How you act and live will have a far further reaching effect on your kids than anything you do. So they may not listen to you now, but they're watching you. So if you decide to go back to the way you were eating, if you decide to give up on your efforts to change your cellular structure, to change what's going on in your body, listen, this is in my purse all the time. And it has been now for years. Years. This is my new normal. Nobody knows me now without having my supplements on hand. No, people would now be shocked if I went to a restaurant and if I went to Olive Garden and I ordered a big bowl of pasta and ate endless bread and then went into a food coma. My family would stare at me like, are we in like an alternate universe? You don't eat like that, mom. That's what they would say. But you know what? It takes time. But you have to live by example. You can't make anybody do anything. They do not understand what's happening to their bodies. They do not understand the repercussions. I didn't understand the repercussions. And I had a dad who was sicker than sick. And I still couldn't get it through my thick head. You guys, like, you need to fly home. Dad's having emergency heart surgery again. Oh, Dad, you're throwing up in the toilet again? And I still wasn't piecing it together. So you can't make anybody. You have to live your example. You have to have things on hand for them when they come to your house, and you just offer it to them. You know, everybody wants to poo-poo something that's sugar-free. Oh, did you make something without sugar again? But then they eat it all. But just allow them their own mind shift. It's hard. You're turning it around. Hard to turn around. Let them go on their journey. You can't make them. And it's hard. Yeah, not giving up, Carla. That's right. That's right. It's not easy, Magda. It's not. I get it. I get it. I get it. I do. So that's just where it had to be for me. I had to make my own changes and know that I can't make anybody else, but I can create content. And you know what? When I die, my content lives on. It lives forever. So Matt, who in the beginning, he's on dialysis, and he comes on during the week and listens. And he said, "I'm just telling people about your channel. I'm just telling people about your channel. I'm just telling people about your channel and about your stuff." And I'm like, that's the way to do it. Get yourself a friend. Say, "Hey, listen, I'm doing this whole supplement. I'm doing this whole trio thing. Come with me. Let's do this together." And that's actually happening a lot, where people are finding buddies to buddy up with and say, let's do this together. We'll take supplements, we'll hold each other accountable, and then we'll learn how to trade out ingredients together and have a good time. Good morning, Ruthie. Good to see you. Magda, you will never give up on your new way of eating. Thank you, Jesus. Amen, Magda. Still here, Matt says. Still here, he says. Good job. Your grandkids. I know. It is, you guys. Yeah, because you don't have control anymore, right? I could control what I did with my kids. I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right at all. I did the best that I could do with what I knew. I thought I was doing well, but I didn't. But that's okay. I mean, in the sense that, you know, now over the last 8 years, I've made a huge shift. 9 years, probably. 9 years, I've made a huge shift. Like I've turned my ship, right? And now they only know me with my new turned ship. And so they don't expect anything else from me. I get very little. I don't get food pushing anymore. Very little, if any. Around my family, none. Nobody would ever, because I would just look at them like, whatever. I'm not interested in like a food coma. That's not my goal. Like tomorrow when I go to the state fair, I literally will have no temptations to eat anything that's trash. Now, will what I eat be perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not going to know the seasoning that they used maybe on the pork chop or the piece of chicken or whatever. I'm not going to know the oils that they used on, let's say I find some grilled veggies or something. I don't even know. I'm not going to know. And it's okay. It's okay. I am not looking to be religiously perfect so that I drive everybody else crazy. And I also don't give myself a chance to just make a better decision. Because if you feel like it's too mountainous, then you won't do it and you'll quit. So I'm not interested in that at all. But I also don't want to feel like crap. So like after yesterday, we had this family reunion, and I ate like I normally eat, and I feel great today. There's no fallout. I don't have any bags under my eyes. I mean, if I do, they're natural. I don't have any puffiness from how I ate yesterday. I'm not inflamed. My joints don't ache. I didn't lose sleep. This is why I keep eating the way that I eat. You can't tell me to change it. Like you couldn't convince me. I love how I feel. It's amazing. And now with my grandchildren, like you were saying, come over to Nona's house. Come cook with Nona. I will teach you, and I will teach them how to make things a certain way. We'll focus on certain things. They just won't even know. They won't know any different. They'll think my house is the normal way. That's my goal. Because we have to stop feeding our kids. Do you know the number one most detrimental food that a child can eat for their teeth? Does anybody know the answer to this? I should do a live on this. Number one most detrimental food for children, for your grandchildren and mine, is to feed them goldfish. Number one, ultra processed flour that turns into sugar, sticks like paste to your teeth and decays them. Worse than anything else. And we do this all day long. From them being very little. We think that it's okay to give them formula with corn syrup and then feed them grain to make them fuller so that they can sleep at night, like rice, etc. And then when they're old enough to eat little something like off of a tray, we give them goldfish to pacify them when we're in, because I did all this. I did all of this, by the way, to pacify them in the car, in the store, in church, right? We have them, but there are alternatives. Why not go and buy an alternative? You can get them at Aldi's now. You can get them at Walmart now. We don't have to do the same crap anymore. Oh, she says, Lord, we buy mega-sized goldfish crackers from Costco. Never knew this. I know, and I'm sorry. Have to stop. We have to stop. And you can make your own stuff, but you don't even have to. Like if that's going to stop people, then don't worry about that. Go and find, instead of the large box of goldfish crackers, go find the big bag of Parmesan crisps. Like just transfer what you're buying for now until you can figure out something else. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't make it so hard that you aren't going to do it. Don't do that. Okay? Like, find the alternative. And Parmesan crisps would be one of them. Go to Aldi's. Aldi's even has little like almond flour keto type crackers, like for cookies, you know, like keto snickerdoodle cookies. Go do that. It's everywhere. Excuse me. It's everywhere. There's no place that you can't go now and get better alternatives until you can figure out how to make something on your own, or until you can, you know, or give them string cheese, have string cheese on hand nonstop. something like that, right? Like you can change it, you can shift it. And then there are more and more ideas out there. The information right now online is amazingly phenomenal. Constant creators of recipes, constant opportunities to learn how to feed your family. Constant. It's an influx and it's fantastic. It's so amazing and so wonderful living in 2024 where everything you need is pretty much at Walmart. Now, 90, and I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. I would say 99% of what I see at Walmart, I do not buy. I'm so boring in what I buy, but out of what I buy, my little stockpile of ingredients makes me the most amazing food. But literally the entire store is toxic. There's just nothing you can buy. Every end cap, because it's all marketing, it's all about money. This is what they're doing the minute you walk in. Money, 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 money. Every aisle, end cap, every pile of stuff on the middle of the aisles as you walk down, it's all bad. It's all bad. And there's nothing that you can, there's literally nothing. Like I'll even try next time to see if I can find something. I don't know if I can, because that's just what they've done. That's what they do to market to you, to get your attention, to sell you the cheapest of the cheapest of the cheapest with the highest of the profit food, not giving two shizzes about your sickness, your medication lifestyle, your future cellular trashing, and your metabolic syndrome. They don't care because their best friend is the PHARMA company that's going to sell you the Ozempic. So they don't care. So we have to change things for our kids and for our grandkids. So if you need any information on the trio, you guys, you know where to find me. I tell you guys every single day. I have my contact information everywhere for a reason. But you have to have sometimes testimonies in order to give your heart hope and in order for you to be encouraged. This is not a terminal diagnosis or a terminal conversation. Listen, somebody who gets a pancreatic conversation, that's one of the harder ones. So guess what? Let's do something about that before then, and let's deal with our cellular health before then. Before then. Bring down your insulin, bring down your sugars, increase your liver function, deal with the visceral fat around your internal organs, like your pancreas. Start with the trio, right? Start with the trio. Kathy, you're so sweet. You're a wealth of knowledge. You're learning slowly. Well, I'm just a geek is what I am, Kathy. And I listen to other people's interviews. That's what I did this weekend. I listened to this interview. There's so much more to this interview. It's stunning. It's just stunning. But at the top of the Instagram page, there's a pink highlight bubble with testimonies. You guys, you can't take my word for it. You have to go and listen to other people who are like, wow, my insulin is coming down. My sugars are coming down. My weight is coming off. I'm getting off of my BP meds. You have to go listen to other people. Because I'm the one who avoided type 2. I'm the one who didn't take supplements didn't take meds, and I did supplements instead. Never having been a supplement person ever, ever, ever. Taking ibuprofen. Like that was my life. If you're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, please go and look at guide number 4. But in the meantime, if you need a cart where these three are in that one little cart, so you can just see it all in one place, just put trio cart in Facebook. Instagram, get into my DMs. TikTok, you either have to like jump over to IG. There's an icon on my profile, or you can text me and you can say, I was on your live and you were talking about the trio. What the heck are you even talking about? These are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. They kept me, in my opinion, because I'm not a doctor and I can't make claims. My story is, this is literally how I staved off type 2. Everybody else in my family is type 2. And then my greater family, Italians, even more so. Lots of obesity, lots of type 2. And when you get your insulin and your sugars down, you can finally lose weight. I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. 3, from a 2X down to a large in my 50s. Deal with your cellular foundation first, because your cells can't do it anymore. They just can't do it anymore. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, bodacious gal. I really, really appreciate you guys. Because TikTok, that's the whole universe. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get out into the FYP unless you like things and share things and tap and do all that stuff. But I so appreciate you guys. If you need anything today, let me know. I'm here 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And we talk everything insulin resistance, ingredient trade outs, how to supplement your way. Like you can literally have a testimony potentially like other people where their morning sugars are going down. They're finally able to lose weight, even though they've been stuck. And you can shift the way that your body is functioning from the inside out. And then the last piece is that I have a free challenge every month in my group. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Every month there's a challenge, a 5-day free challenge, and we go Monday through Friday. It's starting on the 9th of September, the next one, and we'll go 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I can go through all of these things, and I can educate you and resource you and give you what is needed into your toolbox so that you can like maybe shut down the noise. This helps to shut down the food noise. Okay, this helps with the food noise because of the cravings and the appetite decrease. Having tools in your toolbox to understand what's happening with marketing and ingredients and how to trade stuff out can help to shut down the noise about it's all about points. It's all about balance. All you need to do is live in a calorie deficit. You can eat whatever you want. You can drink. If you are insulin resistant, that is a really bad conversation. That's not helping you. So if you're on a hamster wheel and you're wondering why you can't lose weight, even though it used to work for you before, you used to be able to lose weight just by counting points or by doing that program with all of that prepackaged processed food, or by just, you just fasted for 3 days, or you just ran on the treadmill for a month, or you did whatever you did and it's not working anymore. Yes. Bye, Carla. Have a beautiful day yourself. And that's not working for you anymore. It's most likely because you are not viewing things through the lens of insulin resistance. Make that shift. And I am telling you, there are results on the other side of that. So I have an appointment that I have to get to, and reach out to me if you need information on the trio. Be the next success story in the line of success stories. Be the one. All right. Have a super blessed day. And I do help. It doesn't matter. Okay, never mind. Have a super blessed day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll be at the Minnesota State Fair with my husband. I don't know if I'm going to go live from there. It would be very early, but I possibly will, and we will see. And if I do, like if I can go live, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this because I can't have this kind of a setup, but I would love to be able to go live of us on the radio, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'll be at the State Fair tomorrow, so that will be different. Watch the replay, Joanne. See you later. Bye, Cheryl. Have a great day. You too, Jacqueline. Oh, you're so nice, Matt. You are good. Don't even worry about it. I've got some grass-fed beef coming to my house soon. So, all right. See you guys later. Have a great day.